Hello, my name is Melissa Daniels and I have Strabismus, and this channel is all about getting your brain to use your eyes together to help alleviate the symptoms that come with strabismus. Now, for the next couple months, I'm doing a little summer series where we are going to be answering your questions. So you can submit a question either on my Instagram page, Facebook, through these videos in the comment section. You can send me a direct email. I'm going to go back and grab some of the questions that have already been asked. But if you have something that you would like me to address in a video, put it below and it might get chosen. Today's question I'm going to talk about is about Syntonics. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about what Syntonics is, if you've maybe heard of it, it's these different light filters. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we jump into that, you can go over to learn.strabismussolutions.com for any of the resources that I have, whether it's scheduling a Zoom call or taking a course to help with the emotional side or the physical side of strabismus. We've got lots of information for both. You can also do some free resources like the quizzes and the different downloads, work on how to eat healthier, different little exercises and things that you can do. So be sure to go check that out over at learn.strabismussolutions.com. Lots of resources there. Okay, so today's question comes from Joanne Polak, 5843, and her question was, do you know anything about Syntonics and its use in vision therapy? I also watched Dr. Julie Steinauer, and she uses it with all her patients. Okay, so Dr. Julie Steinauer is amazing, and she knows so much about Syntonics. She is the guru. She understands the science. She understands how to use them for different conditions and all of that. So I'm going to let her continue to be the one that talks about how all the sciencey stuff works. I am more than happy to give you my personal experience with it and what I have seen and what I know about it, which is limited, right? So this is definitely, think of this as the patient perspective, not the doctor perspective, okay? Syntonics is one of the many different modalities that are used in vision therapy. You are usually, it has to do with light. So you're like looking at a light and you're looking at this light through a filter. So these filters are just basically like cardboard glasses usually, and they're a different color. So you can kind of think of it like these red and blue glasses where, you know, this is a blue filter and a red filter, but both eyes are looking through the same filter, or you've got like a little flashlight that already has a filter on it, depending on the type of Syntonics you're doing. And they're very specific colors. So it's not just blue or red. There's like a bunch of different types of blue and a bunch of different types of red, and they're all labeled using like the Greek alphabet, like omega, alpha, alpha, omega, pi, omega, alpha, and they're like combining different colors together to get different combinations depending on diagnoses. And again, I don't know the science of all of it. But basically you're looking at a light. A lot of times it's involved with movement. So you're doing some maybe eye stretches while wearing the filters with this light. Maybe you're outside some of the different lights. You might be outside skipping around or going for a walk with this filter on for 5 or 10 minutes. And when I first heard about it, I was like, this is kind of voodoo. And it is. It totally is. Not tons. There's getting to be more and more science about it, and it's becoming more and more accepted. But I would say that it works for half the people. Half the people that I talk to or see are going to be like, this changed my life. This changed everything. I wasn't making progress, and I did Syntonics, and it reset my brain, and it's amazing. And other people are like, it's not really doing anything for me, or this is pointless, right? And I don't know why. And I don't think that anybody really knows why is it that for some people it is so miraculous and some people it doesn't really do much. But in my opinion, and just the way I've done vision therapy and different solutions for strabismus, I'm totally up for trying anything. Even if it works for half the people, what if I'm one of the half that it changes my life? And so I am all for it. If you have the opportunity to try Syntonics with somebody who knows what they're doing, go for it. Absolutely. I've seen some really cool stuff happen with Syntonics. The idea is that, you're looking through this filter and it's filtering out what your brain can get. And so it's kind of I think of it, and I don't really, again, someone who knows a lot about Syntonics could watch this and be like, no, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And it's true. the way I think about it is it's like a reset for the brain. It's helping as we're with vision therapy, you're trying to like rewire your neurology, right? We're trying to create all these new neural connections. And I feel like the Syntonics is like helping feed that. It's like giving it a little helping hand and a stool. The people that I see that have the most success seem to be people who have like a traumatic brain injury. They just respond so well to Syntonics. Amblyopia, actually, people with amblyopia seem to like, it makes a really big difference. It helps a ton with like headaches and just eye strain and like this like closed off feeling, and it can kind of relax the whole system. I'll share a couple personal experiences that I've had using Syntonics. I've used it in a few different ways. I used it a couple years ago and I didn't really feel like it was doing anything. I would put the filter on and I think I would wear red first, and then it was like a blue one or a green one. And as I was using it, I didn't really notice anything. I would just like sit in the closet. I'd wear the one filter. I'd look at the light, gaze softly at it, and then switch to the other one. And I didn't notice much, but in that time I had some really big growth. And there was a few other things happening at that time. So we really don't know like which one was it that made the biggest difference. That's also the same time that I like went vegan for like I was on this like, anyways, I have other videos where I talk about that. And then I also started taking in medicine for anxiety that also like calmed me down. So like those three things all kind of happened at the same time. And my vision just like took off, and I just like everything started falling into place during that time. So I think the Syntonics could have totally played a role, but I didn't like see a direct correlation. Like, oh, I put on these glasses and then I take them off and oh my gosh, everything's amazing. Like there was no like direct like, oh, this is easy to say that Syntonics created this for me. Who knows? Maybe it did. Another time I was using the light filters for different exercises. So I was working on my vertical eye turn, and I was looking at one that was like a more purpley light. I think it was like Omega N maybe. I can't remember what it was called. And again, like I was having some great success. I was getting more control of that vertical turn. The vertical wasn't as bad. Again, like, was it because of the exercise? Was it because I was adding the light with the exercise? Like, I don't know, but like I totally had a lot of success there. Another one, I actually work at the vision therapy office now. And so I'm not a Syntonics, or they call it optometric phototherapy is another name for it. That's what we call it at our office. And one of my coworkers knows a ton about it. And so one day I came in and I was just kind of a mess, like mentally, emotionally, physically. I just was like not having it that day. And she is very observant and noticed like, how are we doing? I'm like, not great. Like I am stressed about so many things. And she's like, let's try some lights. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know if this is going to really do anything. And she comes in with a couple different pairs of glasses, and I put on the first one and I can't remember what color it was, but immediately, like I felt my body like tense, and it just didn't feel good on my body. And I was like, oh, and I like cringed and like moved away from it. I don't know. I can't explain like what it was, but it definitely did something. And so I immediately was like, nope, don't like those. And I took them off. And then she's like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Let's try another pair. And so then we put on these other ones, and they were a yellow one. And I'd never really seen, most people are using like the red, the blue, and the green. Those are like the more common colors. But it was this yellow one. And I put it on, and it was the exact opposite. Like everything just kind of went, oh. Like I felt like the tension come out. I felt like my eyes just relaxed, and it felt so good. And I wore it for maybe like 2-3 minutes. And I think I was just looking at like out the window at natural light. And it like lasted for a long time. So that was really cool for me, right? Like it actually did something. Other people that I've seen do Syntonics have had similar reactions where they come in with a really bad headache, and we do some light therapy where you have like a little flashlight that has the colored filter already on it. And then you're putting it at like different like points of, what are they called? The points, the pressure points, not pressure points. Anyways, they have a different name for it. Again, like you can tell, I'm not like the scientist of all this. And you're doing it at these different points on their face and on the back of their head. And it's like a movement thing and different colors for different places. It's really cool. There's a whole science behind it. And I don't understand that part, but I have watched patients that go from an 8 and a headache, and they're at a 4 or a 3 after we do it. And I can see their body go from like this tense and like they're just not in a place where they can even learn anything visually to a place where they're like ready to go. So I don't know what it is, but Syntonics can do some really cool stuff, especially if you're with somebody who knows what they're doing. Somebody like a doctor who has been through all the training, who has their like FCSO certification through the Syntonics organization. There are some that are just like dabbling in it, and then there's some that really know what's going on. And so finding someone who really gets it and understands how the lights work and understands how to do the testing to find the lights that are going to match what's going on for you, they can be magical, and we don't know why, right? Like I think I heard someone one time compare this to like aspirin. When they first discovered aspirin, they didn't get what it was, like the mechanism that made it work, but they knew it worked. And so even before they had the science to understand why it worked, they were using it because it was doing some magical stuff. So maybe we don't have the technology and the science to understand exactly, and maybe some people do, and it's just me that doesn't know. But there's still a lot we don't understand about how these lights and how light affects us. But I've seen it, and it is like so many people have seen the positive effects of Syntonics. So to answer your question, Joanna, that was really long. Do I know anything? Very little, but I will say that it can be miraculous, and you should totally try it. It's a little voodoo. I'm all for voodoo. I'm all about that. Like, I'll try all the things. Just give it to me. I'll try it. We'll see what happens. I'm open to it. I think being open-minded and saying like, this could be the thing, I'm going to be open to it. That's going to allow that to actually like seep in. Whereas if you're like, this is stupid, I hate this, this is not going to work, it's probably not going to work. So I don't know, maybe it's the placebo effect. I'm also all for the placebo effect. I believe that anything that helps my vision get better, I am for. So let me know if you've tried Syntonics, and make sure in the comments if you would like your question answered and like me to talk about a certain topic or something that you're curious about, please put it in the comments. And if I haven't already made a video about that specific question, I will make a video. You could be chosen. So we will hopefully be having some fun with these questions, and I'll see you in the next video.